Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first annual Metro Sports NFL Honors Award Show. Today, we are going to be handing out 7 awards ranging from the MVP to the Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year, the Coach of the Year, the Comeback Player of the Year, and of course, finally, the Offensive and Defensive Rookies of the Year. We all kind of know how this is going to work. I'm going to be handing out 1 winner and 1 runner-up award, so without wasting too much time, let's just go ahead and hop right into it. And today we will begin with the Defensive Rookie of the Year award, but before I actually hop into that award, I want to say a quick thank you guys for 1,000 subscribers. We have been growing exponentially fast, and I just want to say thank you guys for all the support and love. And if you're not subscribed right now, just make sure to hit the subscribe button because that would help me out a ton. But let's get back into the award. The Defensive Rookie of the Year award, the runner-up will be Will Anderson Jr., with the winner being Devon Witherspoon. I can already hear it now. No, Jalen Carter, in my opinion, does not deserve to be within this award. Has he been fantastic? 100%. He has been one of the best defensive tackles in the league, but he has not, in my opinion, been better than Devon Witherspoon and Will Anderson. We will start off with Will Anderson, who currently, as of today, has 30 solo tackles, 15 assisted tackles, 41 quarterback pressures, and 7 total sacks. And if you're looking for a guy who is a complete leader amongst men, he is the leader of the Houston Texans defense. And he is on a defensive line that does not have a ton of talent, so the fact that he's able to get that much quarterback pressure tells you how often he wins. We're talking about a rookie with over a 50% win rate against offensive linemen. But his season has been incredible, but I just don't think it's been as good as Devon Witherspoon, who in my opinion should be in consideration for an all-pro ballot spot. This year, Devon Witherspoon has 65 solo tackles to go along with 1 interceptions. He has a PFF grade of 84.1, and this year he has been targeted 69 times, nice, and has only given up 39 receptions total. And I already know everyone's going to say that he is on one of the worst defenses in the entire NFL, but it's definitely not his fault. If you want to put the blame on anything, put it on his defensive tackles, his linebackers, and hell, even Tariq Woolen. And if we're going to make that argument against Devon Witherspoon, then we can say the exact same thing about Jalen Carter. So everyone, a quick round of applause for Devon Witherspoon for winning my Defensive Rookie of the Year. Next up, let's move on to the Offensive Rookie of the Year award, and the winner of the Offensive Rookie of the Year is not going to be Puka Nacua. The winner will be CJ Stroud. Let's start off by talking about Puka Nacua, who of course was fantastic this year. 105 receptions for 1,486 yards and 6 touchdowns. How much better can you be as a rookie receiver? You just can't be. And in my opinion, he would win basically every single Offensive Rookie of the Year award if it was not for the fact that he was in a class with CJ Stroud. Puka Nacua would likely be an all-pro player. He's already a Pro Bowl player and is already one of the best receivers in the entire NFL. And while I definitely do see his case to win this award, it's just unfortunate that he does not play the quarterback position, because in my opinion the quarterback position is one of the hardest positions to play in all of any sports, and the fact that CJ Stroud is playing at such a high level in my opinion gives him the advantage here, because on the year CJ Stroud had a completion percentage of 63.9, he had 4,108 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. And at one point this season, we were actually considering CJ Stroud one of the favorites to win the MVP award. Now, I know not all of that actually did become true, and he actually did not win the MVP award, but nonetheless, the fact that he was even in the conversation, in my opinion, tells you everything you need to know. Stroud took a team that last year was ranked number 2 in the draft to a playoff spot and the winners of the AFC South. And I understand this team got significantly better all around from last year, but nonetheless, my point still stands. At one point this season, people were generally wondering how many games the Texans were going to win this year, with many people, not including myself, saying that at maximum they would win a maximum of 6 games. Well, they won the AFC South and have a legitimate chance to make a bit of a run in the playoffs. So in my opinion, the case is closed. I think once he won the division, CJ Stroud basically locked up the award. So everyone, a quick round of applause for both Puka Nacua and CJ Stroud. Let's go ahead and move on now to my Comeback Player of the Year award, and I have a feeling this might be my most controversial pick of the entire video, because my runner-up of this award is going to be Joe Flacco, with my winner being Damar Hamlin. Let's start off by talking about Joe Flacco's case, because he definitely does have a strong case. In the 5 games he played, he had a completion percentage of 60.3, he had 1,616 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, and he was the big reason why they had such a big turnaround and had such a great season this year. This was a Browns team that before Joe Flacco took over, seemingly had no chance of making the playoffs, but once the defense started to kick in and Joe Flacco came in and actually started putting up some points, the team just exploded. And And as it sits today, this team probably has the second best chance to win the AFC, and I think a big reason for that is Joe Flacco. But the only reason why I have him ranked as my number 2 and my runner-up is because of the simple fact that he only played 5 games. Had he played half the season, or hell, even just 7 games, I probably would have gave it to him, but I just can't give it to somebody who only played 5 games of a 17-game span. And I know what you're gonna say, Metro, well, Damar Hamlin didn't even start for his team, and he probably only played 2 games maximum. And yes, that's 100% true, but I want you guys all to take a step back and just forget everything that happened with the media, forget all the interviews Damar Hamlin did, forget all the ESPN, SportsCenter, Bleacher Reports, all those stupid posts they made about Damar Hamlin for the past 12 months, and let's just take a step back and a deep breath and just remember what happened against Cincinnati about 1 year ago today. Let's not forget, he basically died on a football field. And I think people are underplaying the fact that this guy literally passed away and had to be resuscitated on the field. The simple fact that this guy is even on an NFL team and even able to run is ridiculous. In my opinion, it is one of the greatest stories we've seen in sports history, and it's a shame that it's happened to such a good person. And it's also a shame that he gets so much criticism from the media, even though the guy literally passed away on a field. I get it, he hasn't played much, and he probably hasn't done a whole lot to actually deserve the award, but in my opinion, the simple fact that he is even able to suit up and play any minutes in any football game, in my opinion, gives him this award. It also does help Damar's case that the only good candidates for this award are a 5-game Joe Flacco and maybe Tua. So yeah, I think that Damar Hamlin has deserved it. I know I'm gonna get some flack for that, but nonetheless, let's give a round of applause for both Damar Hamlin and Joe Flacco for being in the conversation for the Comeback Player of the Year award. Let us now move on to a much less controversial pick here in the Coach of the Year award. I should hear absolutely no flack for this, and everyone should basically agree with me, but my winner of this award is going to be Kevin Stefanski, and my runner-up is going to be DeMeco Ryans. Let's start off with our runner-up, who I think had a very valid reason to win this award. Him, CJ Stroud, and Will Anderson took a team that was the number 2 pick last year and very talentless to now being the winners of the AFC South and one of the true contenders inside the AFC moving forward. And yes, I 100% think he would be winning this award in most normal seasons, but it just so happens to be that this is not a very conventional and normal year. It's a very bizarre year this year, and I think that we have to give respect to a guy in Kevin Stefanski who's been dealing with so much. When it's all said and done, the Browns have their 3rd and 4th string offensive tackles, they have their 2nd string running back, their 4th string quarterback, they've also had several injuries along the defense, and you look at almost every single major position on this roster, there have been guys who have been missing several games or even on IR. Yet despite that, the Browns, like I said earlier, are arguably the 2nd best team in the AFC, and they were able to clinch a playoff spot with a week left to go. Sure, they didn't win the division like the Houston Texans did, but it also so happens to be that they are arguably in the hardest division in the entire NFL, and they still found a way to be successful. They found ways to be successful with Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback. No disrespect to Flacco, but Joe Flacco was their starting quarterback. Let's put that into perspective. So let's go ahead and give a quick round of applause to both Kevin Stefanski and DeMeco Ryans. Both these coaches equally deserve it, but I think that as of today, Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns deserve it a little bit more. So now that I am done with the less controversial pick, it is right back to being controversial, and I was being nice to Browns fans a little bit more these past 2 picks because I'm about to get on their bad side yet again. Because we are going to be talking about the Defensive Player of the Year award, and I'm sorry, but my winner is going to be Micah Parsons, and my runner-up is going to be Myles Garrett. I know I have a ton of Cleveland Browns fans. I read your guys' comments, I respond to them. I know you guys are very passionate about this Browns roster. And if you want to say Myles Garrett deserves it more than Micah Parsons, I do not disagree with you at all. But in fact, I do disagree with you. I think it should be Micah Parsons. Does Myles Garrett have a case? 100%. He has more solo tackles and more run stuffs than Micah Parsons. But on the year, they both have 14 sacks, and as of week 17, Micah Parsons has 71 quarterback pressures, whereas Myles Garrett had only 63, which is the 5th most in the NFL. They both have 17 tackles for loss, and Micah Parsons only has 1 less run stuff than Myles Garrett, so it's not like he has that many more. And they've both played equally the same amount of games, so it's not like their production has been that different between the 2 players. And sure, you can say, well, Myles Garrett has more impact plays than Micah Parsons. Micah may not have the touchdowns or the forced fumbles that Myles Garrett has, but at the end of the day, Micah Parsons has been making plays when it matters the most. When the Cowboys are in crunch time and need a Micah Parsons play, they get a Micah Parsons play game after game after game. So Micah maybe hasn't necessarily just taken over every single game like Myles Garrett has, but Micah has been doing everything the Cowboys have needed him to do. And that's not even mentioning the fact that the Dallas Cowboys don't exclusively use him as an edge rusher. Sometimes they put him in the middle, sometimes they even even use him at linebacker. So yes, indeed, I have Micah Parsons over Myles Garrett. But without screaming in the comments, let's make sure to give these guys both an equal round of applause because they equally do deserve it. And I'm sticking with the controversial here, and again, I'm gonna get a lot of haters on this one too. We are now moving on to the Offensive Player of the Year award, and my runner-up for this award is going to be Tyreek Hill, with my winner being CeeDee Lamb. Let's just start off with the stats before I give you guys my explanation here. CeeDee Lamb has 135 catches for 1,749 yards, 12 touchdowns, and his season long was 92 yards. Whereas Tyreek Hill had 119 catches for 1,799 yards, 13 touchdowns, with his season long being a catch of 78 yards. Now right off the bat, the biggest thing that stands out for me is the fact that CeeDee Lamb has 16 more catches but 50 less yards and also 1 less touchdown. But here's my short little explanation. I think since October 16th, where he had 7 catches for 117 yards, I think that he has been the best receiver in the entire NFL. People don't know this, but before that October 16th games, in weeks 1 through 5, he only had 1 game with over 100 yards. But once the Cowboys started to feature him on the offense, he has been absolutely fantastic. He has 9 games with over 100 yards total, and has been consistently the best player on the field whenever they are out there. It doesn't matter who the cornerback is, whether it's Sauce Gardner, or Tariq Woolen, or Devon Witherspoon, or whoever it is, he has outplayed them every single time. And yes, I 100% understand that Tyreek Hill has been absolutely incredible as well. I just feel like Tyreek Hill has not been the best receiver since week 6. And I think something that goes a little bit under the radar here has been kind of some of the bad plays from Tyreek Hill. And as of late, he's actually had a couple more drops than CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, at least to my record here, only has 1 legitimate drop, whereas I've seen Tyreek Hill drop touchdowns and big plays consistently. That's not me saying that Tyreek Hill has bad hands by any means, but I do believe that CeeDee Lamb has been the better receiver, and I'm just going to leave it at that. If you want to argue in the comment section below, I'll be gladly able to respond to you. But yeah, that's just my opinion. So CeeDee Lamb is the winner, Tyreek Hill is the runner-up. Let's give both these guys a huge round of applause. And lastly, the MVP, which in my opinion was decided just a few weeks ago against the San Francisco 49ers. That is, of course, Lamar Jackson as the winner, with Dak Prescott being the runner-up. We'll start off with Dak Prescott, who had an incredible season, and by just a basic stats, you would think that Dak would win it, because on the season, Dak Prescott has a completion percentage of 69.5. He has 4,516 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions, whereas Lamar Jackson through the air has 3,678 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions, but that is of course not even including his rushing stats. I think the difference between Dak Prescott winning this award and him not winning this award is both of their performances against the San Francisco 49ers. Dak against the 49ers was a really bad quarterback. I think he had 3 or 4 interceptions in that game and was just outright horrible, even if it was not all his fault. Whereas Lamar Jackson arguably had one of his best games of the season against the San Francisco 49ers, and he has consistently stepped his game up every single time they've played good teams. Now, I'm not blaming Dak for the loss against Buffalo or even Miami, because I think honestly in both games he did not play all that bad, but I think Dak had to have a good performance either against San Francisco or Buffalo in order for him to win the award. But the simple fact that they lost those games in blowout fashion, in my opinion, takes him off the ability to win this award. Lamar has consistently been the best player on the field whenever he steps out there, even if the stats don't really back that up. He is the best player on the best team in the entire NFL, with his #1 weapon being Zay Flowers. I think it has to go to Lamar Jackson. So ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you guys. Let's make sure to give a huge round of applause to Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, and all of our award winners in this video. Everyone in this video 100% deserves to win the award. I truthfully think it's going to be one of these guys for basically each award. At the end of the day, these are just my opinions, so let me know in the comment section below what you guys agree or disagree on, and I'll make sure to respond to your comment. And as I said earlier in the video, if you guys are not subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button because that would help me out a ton. But I love you guys. Peace.